Diablo 4 goes free to play. Is Diablo 4 panicking? Well, let's see. Are they or not? It only went up by 2,000 people. I think the reality is that the whole cope about how a game costing money is the reason why it succeeds is completely not true. If people want to play a good game, they'll spend the money for it. PoE is $30 just for early access. The game's not even out yet, and it got over 500,000 players. The amount of money that a game costs is I do not actually believe it's a barrier to entry. Baldur's Gate 3 was $60. It had over 1 million players. I think almost, right? Same with Elden Ring.
Hey, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? Ackle here, of course. Welcome back to each and every one of you. Now, I was actually well on my way to my off weekend where I'm not going to work because I'm, sort of tired from the week. I've made a lot of videos this week, about averaging, I think, 5 or 6 videos a day.
That's a lot.
But then this little nugget of just excitement came across my desk, and I knew I absolutely had to talk about this. Now, Path of Exile 2 launched sort of like 2 weeks ago, I think, 2 weeks ago now, to early access, and, this is a game that's actually...
It is a crazy level of retention, by the way. Like, to look at this level of retention, this is disgusting. Like, if you look at a bunch of other games, like, if you look at any other, like, new release game, you almost never see this. Almost always game's good. Yes, this tells a bigger story than even the number itself. It's like Marvel Rivals. Well, let me see how Marvel Rivals is doing. Let me look at it. Yeah, basically about the same. Marvel Rivals a little bit less, but about that, yes. Crazy lack of fall off.
Actually supposed to be free to play, but it launched to $30 for the early access, going all the way up to like $100 pack and even $500 packs for people that really want to support it. And I don't think it comes as a surprise to anyone that Path of Exile 2 has been absolutely knocking it out of the park. It is what everyone sort of hoped Diablo 4 would become and what Diablo 4 would have been. Remember, Blizzard promised a lot with Diablo 4, with Diablo 3 being such a big step back from what people were hoping.
Yeah, I was hoping that Diablo 4 would be the perfect convergence of Path of Exile and Lost Ark. That's what I wanted.
Diablo 3 was going to be, following the absolute blinding success of Diablo 2. Diablo 4 was supposed to be Blizzard's promising return to form, right? This was the game that's going to take them back. They're back in the ARPG market, and they're coming in bigger and better than ever. And Blizzard had every opportunity to come back bigger and better than ever. They had Path of Exile 1 to look to. They have Lost Ark to look to. There were so many ARPGs on the market that were trying new things and trying to be different things for different people. So Diablo 4 really had no excuse to not be good. And then the game launched, and most people were sort of going, wait, this is the base that you have? And really...
Are you fucking serious? Like, is this really, like, are you really doing this? Like, yeah, no. It's like you just look, like, if you compare the boss fight that you do, like in Diablo 4 at the beginning of the campaign where you fight against the big guy that shoots the fire and there's, like, the pentagram thing. If you compare that to the snake fight, or, like, let's say even the guy that you fight, like, right before it, it's just not even the same universe. There's no boss in Diablo 4 that's as good as even the first boss at the end of Act 1 in PoE. Or PoE 2.
I said from the beginning, Diablo 4...
It's not even close.
Feels like a Diablo game made by a bunch of people that never actually played Diablo. It feels like an ARPG that was made by a bunch of developers that's never actually played ARPGs.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of developers that were told by some marketing department, hey,
this
what really works at the
RPG
moment?
ARPGs
make an ARPG, and they set out to do it. And then I got confirmation of this with the first big patch that was meant to fix a lot of the problems in the game. And even before the patch came out, so when Blizzard was still doing their blue posts about what they think they're going to be fixing in the game, a lot of the content creators and people that are far more knowledgeable than me on ARPGs were talking about this going, wait, but what are you doing? Like, these changes are absolutely not going to fix anything. And then the patch goes live. It breaks all of the things that the actual ARPG players warned about. Blizzard then releases another patch, and a lot of people sort of, as if with amnesia, praises Blizzard, especially the media, for being very responsive and absolutely listening to the player base.
I always try to be positive when good things happen, because I feel like if you're not, then good things stop happening. However, he's right. He's absolutely right. It should have never happened. And also, like, I feel like with Diablo 4, a lot of people just expected it to be, I don't know, like a little bit more than what it was, a little bit more depth. And like, I think the best example of the developers not really understanding the community is the fact that they made people redo Renown. How could you possibly do that? How could you, like, the fact that they waited until season 2 to get rid of that is just so insulting for an average player. It's such an obvious thing nobody wants to do. Redoing Renown is what made me quit. Yeah, exactly.
Being quick on the trigger. I say, well, actually, if they were quick on the trigger, they would not have released the patch in that state in the first place.
Yeah.
And then the second patch comes around, and Blizzard does exactly the same thing. And again, I have to fix the patch afterwards. That was all the confirmation that I needed. That Diablo 4, the developers behind that game really didn't know how to make a good ARPG. And then to put like the cherry on top, just a little whoop, on top, was Path of Exile 2. When Path of Exile first launched and I got my hands on it, I knew within like the first 2 hours, this is an ARPG made by people that understand what an ARPG is. It was very different to Path of Exile 1, and that's one of the...
It's like the difference, like playing PoE 2. Like, whenever I played PoE 2 for the first time, it felt like I was playing what Diablo 4 should have been. Like, everything about it, like, this is what Diablo 4 should have been the entire time. It's the sequel. Yeah, like, it's Diablo 6. I wouldn't even say it's Diablo 5.
Reasons why Grinding Gear Games have said that they're continuing development on Path of Exile 1. Like, that's not stopping. Yeah. Path of Exile 2 is not meant to be a replacement to Path of Exile 1. It's meant to be a different game to Path of Exile 1. So people who love the fast-paced sort of just blow things up, Path of Exile 1 style, they can still do that. And then people that want a more methodical, more almost strategic playtime with Path of Exile 2, they'd be able to do that.
They have to play a warrior.
You look at the amount of in-game stuff that's in the game, it in early access already blows everything that Diablo 4 had on offer out of the water.
That's what's really embarrassing. The early access version of their endgame is more extensive than Diablo 4's endgame, and Diablo 4's been out for over a year. And it's been developed with like a, several magnitudes more of a budget.
Of course, the first big DLC for Diablo 4 comes around, and it finally puts the game at a place that most people agree this is the level that it should have been on at launch.
Yeah.
So it took them almost a year to finally get the game to a
like season 4
playable
5,
state where it's actually a decent ARPG. Now, even there, first patch almost immediately broke a bunch of things. Second patch didn't do much better. And it's just been an incredibly rough...
I think a really big problem with Diablo 4, it's kind of like what I was saying before about how, like, when one part is bad, everything is bad. I think that the story for Diablo 4 is legitimate garbage. I think it just totally sucks. It's predictable, it's slow, it's boring, it's like there's no grit to it at all. If you go and you watch the Diablo 2 cinematics and then you compare it to the Diablo 4 cinematics, it's like going from watching Fight Club to watching a Pixar movie. It's just like, or watching Teletubbies. It's pathetic. I can't even believe it. Like, yeah, chapter 1 is the only good part. Yeah, maybe at the very beginning it was kind of cool. But, like, that's it. Power of Friendship, yeah. And like, then you have, like, the gameplay, too. Like, you just can't see what's happening in Diablo 4. Like, it's just a soup of effects. That's it.
Rocky road for Diablo 4. Now, sadly, we don't really have numbers for Diablo 4. Because even if I go on Steam charts, for example, this really doesn't tell the full story. Because Diablo 4, it's not really on Steam. Remember, it first launched...
I would assume that 90% of people are playing it on Battle.net.
On Battle.net. Yeah. And from Battle.net, like it was the super majority ported to Steam. Now, there is an argument to be made here that the whole reason, so the reasoning from Blizzard to launch this on Steam was because it wasn't actually selling as well on Battle.net as they had.
I disagree with that. I think the reason why they launched it on Steam is to future-proof themselves from accusations of a monopoly by the FCC. That's the reason why. And I think that's why they moved Overwatch and Diablo 4 over as a result of the lawsuit that Microsoft had. I think that's the real reason. And it has nothing to do with player count numbers or sales at all. It's totally unrelated.
Hope. So both? That could absolutely, definitely still be true.
Great point.
But even
that
with
was
that,
the actual
these are not really
force.
Numbers. Like, we can't take these numbers at face value. And that's what makes this story, I think, a lot more prominent and a lot more pertinent. Diablo 4 is free until January, and it lets you play as its most busted class. This is the Spiritborn, of course, and Blizzard is inviting everyone to just come on a rampage. Now, it is important to note that this isn't the first time that Blizzard has done this with Diablo 4. They have been desperately trying to get players to actually try this game out. In fact, I think Diablo 4 has been free more than any other game I have ever seen, dude. Like, this game goes through free cycles.
I didn't even know that.
Pretty much every few months, where they're going for like a week free on this side, a week free on that side. And this latest one actually coincides with a massive 40% discount, as well as a 35% discount if you buy the whole package. Jesus. That includes, of course, the brand new DLC for the game. The thing is...
So it's minus 35% already? Wow. It's free on Game Pass too? They really need that money back? Yeah. I mean, like, it's not discounted enough. I mean, I kind of agree with you, to be honest. It's on Game Pass. I played it for 45 minutes. Yeah, it's about how long... it's about right. Sure. Soon they'll try to pay you to play it. You're laughing? Like, guys, that's not a joke. It's going to happen. Ironically, people pay for skins in PoE 2 way more than Blizzard gets from selling their DLC. It's hard to say.
It's not so much that it is on this free-to-play cycle they're trying to get people's interest. I have no problem with games trying to do some promotions here and there. The reason this particularly is a very weird and awkward time is it's right around Christmas. Yeah. This is the time where most people are most excited to spend money. Not in January.
That's a really good point. That is a crazy fucking good point. That they are making the game free during Christmas. Wow.
Play this game right up until January. In January, people don't have money to be spending on games. So the fact that Blizzard is giving it away for free now, during a time where most games will actually recoup a lot of their costs, that is significant. Remember, they have the actual physical live stats in the office. So they can see the numbers, and they can probably see when Path of Exile came out, they can see, whoa, that's a lot of players that we just lost there. And of course, when we look at Path of Exile, that is 350,000 people playing right now. And I would like for you to just take a look. That is almost at the peak, right? So this game is going for...
And also, PoE has its own launcher as well. Like, I don't play Path of Exile. Like, how many of you guys, if you're playing PoE 2, are you playing on Steam or are you playing on the launcher? I bet we're probably going to have like 50-50. Okay, actually, no. Pretty much a lot of people. Wow. We got a lot more people on Steam now. Pretty much the whole chat's on Steam. Yeah, I'm on the launcher. What the I feel like a fucking caveman here. What is this?
From strength to strength. And it's been like this for a while, by the way. Like, you can see here, these numbers are stable as hell. They are very, very rarely actually dipping. And you know a game is a good game when on its first weekend, it hits 539, then 578. Then it goes through a bit of a slump, not really that bad, but the next weekend...
That's not a slump. That's the way every single video game goes. The weekend, like on its release, it will go up, then it will go down, then it will go back up on the weekend. Like every single video game has a surge in players in Saturday and Sunday, pretty much. It's super common.
To almost previous highs, right? You know that is a good game. The game has been able to survive 2 weekends. So people are clearly putting in the work. People are loving this game. You compare it to this clearly, but that's not the whole picture. This is the picture. This is what you should be focusing on. Diablo 4 is in trouble. Blizzard knows that Diablo 4 is in trouble. Diablo 4 was really Blizzard's sort of lost Hail Mary. This was the one that was meant to put Diablo back on the map. It was meant to...
It's their last chance, bro. It's so fucking funny that, like, I feel like I've spent 10 years watching YouTube videos talking about how the latest Blizzard product is Blizzard's last chance. Like, Warlords of Draenor was their last chance. Legion was their last chance. Overwatch was their last... It's so fucking funny for me to see this.
To save
this one
the
for
Diablo
real, though.
Franchise.
Yeah, this
because
time for
Diablo
real.
3 did not do a good job of really carrying the Diablo franchise.
It's a piece of shit.
And a lot of players were getting ready to ditch the efforts.
Yeah.
I think Diablo 4 is going to be another one of those disasters. That's not to say that no one will play it. There are absolutely people who are a little bit more on the casual side who will probably not have a problem playing something
If
like...
you're only going to invest 30 to 50 hours into a season, I think that you could maybe get more out of Diablo 4 than PoE 2. But I just think that, like, personally, the quality of gameplay in Path of Exile 2 is just so far and above better than Diablo 4. I don't know if I'm ever going to play Diablo 4 again. Maybe if they make an expansion, I'll play the expansion again. But, like, actually sitting down to get excited for and to play a new season of Diablo 4, I really don't think... I don't know if I'll ever play it again. Yeah, maybe if I get sponsored, right? I could play the season for a couple hours. I mean, I don't really... It's not like I hate the game. It's just that, you know, it's just not really my thing. Yeah, I'll play both. That's fine. This is just, like, for me.
Diablo 4 over something like Path of Exile, but even there, Path of Exile 2 is a lot more accessible for newbies and people who are just not that proficient at ARPGs.
I really agree with him there. I think PoE 2, the reason why it's retaining and it's keeping so many people is because of how many new players are able to play it and get into it. That's actually true. Like, I really feel like it is very new player accessible.
Path of Exile 1 ever was. It does a much better job of explaining a lot of things. The game is a little bit more slow paced, so it's a lot easier to learn. All I can see is that Blizzard is in trouble, and you know a company is in trouble when the games media writes an absolute glazer. You know, you go through this article. I'm not even going to read this article to you guys because I don't want to give Blizzard the free advertisement. But boys, this entire, like, the first...
Jesus.
I would say
Jesus, bro. Like, you check out Diablo 4's World of Sanctuary over the festive period. It's a world where inside every treasure chest, side quest, and underpowered boss that you can pop open like a piñata, there's a pile of shiny gold weapons and armor ready to spill at your feet. Where's the hashtag ad? In Sanctuary, it's Christmas every day? Bro, this is... Who wrote this? Rod Ferguson? What is this? Oh my god.
First
Dude, I've seen commercials for Raid Shadow Legends that glaze the game less than this.
Almost of this article
God.
is just them sort of writing a massive ad campaign for what you can expect. So
who does
just
this?
Listen to this. If this cornucopia of shiny things and the dopamine hit of a massive loot drop sounds appealing to you, then good news. Because now until January...
Every time that I hear the word dopamine hit, I think of it as like this is a depressed millennial that thinks that a sword is going to make his life better and it's going to make him stop losing his hair. Stop it. You're so fucking pathetic. Just please stop it.
3, you can play Diablo 4 for free on PC via Battle.net and on PlayStation and Xbox. But we don't talk about those there.
It is an ad.
This is literally just an ad.
Yes.
They got PC Gamer to write them an ad.
Why are they glazing this so hard? And also keep in mind, IGN rated the Diablo 4 expansion below Path of Exile 2.
That is how disgusting,
Dude.
first and foremost, the gaming media is. But that
Yeah.
is how much trouble Blizzard is in. They know that they are in trouble. They know that things are not looking up. Things are not going well.
Well, yes,
I
it
think
was an
Blizzard
8.
as a whole is struggling.
Diablo
There's a
expansion was a
lot of
9.
troubling signs within World of Warcraft. A lot of the player base is at a point with World of Warcraft where they just sort of clocked out. They just sort of checked out. And now you have to...
The reason why I stopped playing WoW is because I think that the game lost the grit that it used to have. Like, when Illidan grabbed Gul'dan's head and incinerated him and then crushed his skull, and then he said, "Follow me into the abyss," and we went to fight Sargeras, I feel like we kind of peaked there. And then we go from that to, like, Jaina and her mom crying, and then there's Anduin crying, and then Sylvanas is, like, sad, and then Tyranda's mad, and then she's crying because of Malfurion. It's pathetic. It's just fucking pathetic, man. Yeah, Thrall's impatient. Yeah, I don't want to see this. That's not the vibe that I wanted. It's not like the type of content that I wanted. It's weird. And also, like, the game itself, like, every season to me feels the same. You do the exact same thing. You do Mythic Plus dungeons, you do the current raid, and then you get gear and you wait for vault upgrades, and then you do other activities on the side. I feel like I've been playing the exact same thing for, like, I don't know how long. Years. Since Legion. And I'm just... I don't know. That's enough, right? That's every MMO. Well, I'm not playing every other. That's not. No, it's not Classic WoW. Classic WoW was a good experience, and you did more things. Did you even do the raid this tier? No. I don't even give a shit. I don't care because they made the game weird. And I don't know, like, it's just weird. Like, I don't know what to say. Dude just hates WoW now. I don't really hate WoW. I mean, I just think it's weird now. Yeah, like, it's just fucking weird.
Diablo 4, Overwatch 2 has been a nightmare and a disaster pretty much since the beginning, and now you have Marvel Rivals that is absolutely wrecking Overwatch's crap. I mean, just take a look at this, right? Overwatch 2, it has 30,000 players at the moment. Marvel Rivals, 290,000 players at the moment. So quite clearly, you know, things are not looking well over at Blizzard. Things are not looking up. It's not looking as if things are getting better. And if this article is anything to go by, in the same way that we're celebrating Ubisoft, and I made a video about it yesterday, Ubisoft is about to go bankrupt, I think we might very quickly start to see major layoffs at Blizzard Entertainment as Microsoft most likely starts to look at a potential cutback on Diablo 4 staff, the team that runs it, and maybe a whole slew of others. Fundamentally, the IPs are worth a lot, but the teams don't seem to be able to make them work. Have you played Diablo 4? Do you like it?
I think the problem is that they're not creative enough, and they don't have people that work on the Diablo team that have the intuition to understand what makes a good game. I think that's the real fundamental problem. Like, if you look at, for example, you listen to Jonathan or, you know, Chris Wilson or any of the other guys on the PoE2 team, and, like, listen to any of them talk about the game, it's like a night and day difference. It's the same as, like, if you listen to, like, Kevin Jordan, who was one of the original designers of, like, Classic WoW. If you listen to him talk about the game, and then you listen to the new developers talk about the game, it's not even this. It's a totally different. Like, it's shocking how big the difference is. It's actually just shocking. And I'm trying to think, like, another example. If you look at the way that, like, what was his name? Miyazaki, right? Who does like Dark Souls and like Elden Ring and everything, or like Yoshi P, right? If you listen to them, or like Sven Vic, yeah, from like Larian, the way that they talk about the game and explain it, it's just a level of awareness that I think a lot of developers now simply do not have. They just don't have it.
And how do you feel about Path of Exile 2? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, hit the like if you like, dislike if you didn't. And I'll still see all of you. I shall see all of you in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, this is a good video. I mean, like, I think it's crazy the fact that they're putting it on sale during, or making it free during Christmas. That is nuts, man. Like, wow.